Hi, I'm here with our Winnipeg Realtors President, David MacKenzie. We're here to talk about the 2015 first quarter MLS market update. And just to start off with, we had an excellent forecast breakfast in January. And at that very breakfast, our guest speaker, Benjamin Tell, was able to pass on breaking news that the overnight Bank of Canada lending rate dropped from 1% to 0.75%. Since then, that's really triggered some very attractive and competitive mortgage rates terms, which we really weren't thinking that way, quite frankly, at the time, thinking they may even go up this year. So that's really set up our year in the first quarter to entice especially first-time buyers, but buyers in general, to take advantage of those historically low mortgage rates, to the point that we've been told by mortgage brokers that they probably haven't seen these kind of rates in 50, 60 years, really in our lifetime. So that's how good they are, and really, again, sets up the market much better than we may have thought going into this year. So Dave, do you agree that these rates really did help kickstart our 2015 market this year?
Well, definitely I think that they help, Peter. I think that any time you can get a drop in mortgage rates, it allows more people into the market. But I think that there were some other factors there too. You know, we had a great spring and the snow went early, although it came back, but it went again. You know, so there's just a good feeling, you know, in the marketplace that has translated into sales.
You know, Dave, one thing that's been a carryover from 2014, which, by the way, was our 5th best year in record, so we're coming off a very solid year in 2014, has been the continuation of increased listings coming on our market, and that's really at new listings coming in the market and our existing inventory. So there's plenty of choice to go around. And one example that really bears that out are our condominium listings. We have 721 active listings going into April, and of those, nearly 40% are, you know, new product, so to speak, that not move-in ready condos. How do you see these listings, and using condos as an example, translating in our current market going into the second quarter?
Well, first of all, I'll speak to the number of listings, and I think that it's a positive thing because it gives buyers more selection right across the board. So, you know, and that has resulted in more of a balanced market. So, if you will, everybody's happy. But speaking to condos, condos are a bit of an interesting study in that you know, that there's more than we've ever had, 721. Yeah. So, and then I think about 39% of that is new build or under construction, and even to go one step further than that, some of those are outside the perimeter in bedroom communities like Ile-des-Chênes, Niverville. So depending on the customer that you're working with and what their criteria is, possession date, you know, sure. Affordability, it does offer the condo buyer, you know, a number of options. So even though that some of the numbers seem high, when you drill down to specifics and specific areas, whether it be condo or residential housing, there's still a balance there, and quite frankly, I mean, I've been working with some people that there's not enough listings. Okay. You know, there's not enough in their area and price range. So
you really need to be talking to your realtor to drill down, like you said, to find that even though there is a lot more choice, you need that advice to really help guide you
very properly. Much so. Yeah, it's getting a little bit more complicated out there with the choices. So I think that by all means, your realtor can be the one that can guide you through that.
Not surprisingly, with this earlier warmer weather to get us off to a head start, especially in March, we saw March MLS sales up 9% over March 2014. So we are ahead of our forecast. And so obviously we're optimistic going into the second quarter. But having said that, with all this choice of additional listings, it's become a very competitive market, much more than some vendors or sellers, I should say, maybe realize now that they're coming back into the market to sell their homes. So that's one question I have of our president, Dave. How do you advise a seller in this kind of more competitive market?
Well, I think that the seller has to rely on their realtor more than ever now, in that it's not just putting the sign on the front lawn. It's preparing the house for market, and that could mean various improvements or suggested improvements, to that property to make it show that much better than the next one. So I think that through the realtor, the comparative market analysis, along with potential staging or suggestions to get that house to show as best it can, so that it can be presented on the market, in its best light, and that will help sellers over the other sellers, if you will, to get that advantage, because it is starting to become more competitive out there, and you need that edge.
As you can tell, we're off to a good start in 2015, and there's reason for optimism going into the second quarter. And so we look forward to coming back and giving you an update at the end of the second quarter.